Hello guys, welcome to the last session on exception handling in basics of Python programming, a comprehensive course for the beginners. In this session you will be learning about what are exceptions, what is exception handling, why we go for exceptions, how to handle exceptions, and finally we learn about how to implement exception handling in Python. Let's get started. What are exceptions? Exceptions are nothing but the errors generated during runtime. What is exception handling? Sometimes while you're executing a program will get terminated unexpectedly and you don't know what actually causing to terminate the program. The concept of dealing with such exceptions in a program is called exception handling. How to handle exceptions? The exceptions can be handled in a program using try and except blocks. Try block. The code that need to be monitored should go to try block. If any exception occurred during runtime, those exceptions will get catched and thrown to except block. Except block. The exceptions which are being caught in try block will catch in except block where we handle the exceptions in a proper way. We have another blocks as well like else block. The else block is an optional block which will get executed if and only if when there are no exceptions thrown by try block. And finally, we have a finally block. This is also an optional block which will get executed after all blocks get executed. If we define finally block in our program after try, except and else blocks, the finally block will definitely get executed in sequence even an exception being caught in try block and that was handled in exception block. Exception handling is very important in any programming language. As a good programmer, you need to handle such unexpected errors in a program itself before they actually get triggered during runtime and notify user with actual exception details in an understandable way. Okay, let's open PyCharm IDE and see how we can implement exception handling in Python. Our PyCharm IDE ready? Let's get started by creating a new file, Python file, exceptions. Okay, now let's see how we can implement these concepts in Python using an example program. In order to understand all about exception and its handling, let's understand the same by a generic example, divide by 0. If suppose in your program, if you are performing mathematical operations, there the division by 0 operation being performed, that's actually a invalid operation, which cause the program will get terminated unexpectedly during runtime. This is one of the example of an exception called zero division error exception. Let's create a program to calculate body mass index of a person based on his weight and height. Okay, the body mass index formula is BMI is equal to weight in kilogram divided by height in meters square. Okay, so the same can be achieved using BMI equal to weight divided by height in meter square. Okay, this is the formula. In order to perform this calculation, we need to have a weight and also height should be entered in meters. Okay, so for that, let's create two variable called weight equal to int input. Please enter your weight in kilograms. Okay, this is one variable and I'm going to accept another variable called height equal to int input. Please enter your height in meters. Okay, this is another variable. These are the two variables we seek an input from an user, and now we'll calculate body mass index is equal to weight divided by height power of 2. This will give us the body mass index of a person based on his or her weight and height. Okay, now let's see how it is. Now let's try to execute this program and see how the body mass index will be calculated. Let's say if I enter the weight as 75 and height is actually 2 meters, we got an error saying name error. This is one of the exception. Okay, but we don't know why this got terminated, right? But actually why this is got terminated, because here we gave the name of the variable is actually a wrong. Here if you see we have the variable name as WEIGHT, and the other variable we mentioned in the formula is WIGHT. So that is the reason intentionally I gave this wrong formula in order to show you one of the exceptions which get triggered during execution time. Okay, now if you give the E and then now if you save and rerun the same program, 75 as weight and 2 as my height, now process finished with exit code 0 because we haven't given any print statement to print the BMI. Now print body mass index of a person is BMI. So now if you save and run, now give the weight as 75 and height in meters actually 2. Now you get the body mass index of a person is actually 18.75. So as long as everything fine in this particular program, you are able to see the output. Earlier we got one of the error, right? During runtime, by giving a wrong variable name, we got one error that is nothing but name error. That is one of the exception. Okay, and if suppose if I rerun this program and then I give the weight as 75 and height as 0, if I hit enter, there is another error got triggered during runtime saying it's a 0 division error. This is one of the other exception we got during runtime. So these two kinds of exception, if we handle using exception handling techniques in a program, that will be the good thing for the user to fix these errors before actually they get triggered during runtime. Okay, let's say I'm going to comment this. Now I'm going to paste it here, and what I'm going to do is I have these two variables, and now I'm going to put this calculation that need to be monitored is BMI equal to weight slash height power of 2, and then this will be printing. Okay, these need to be in proper indentation, otherwise it will throw in another error. Okay, now if I go with except, I'm going to give the exception name as exception. Okay, and then now I am printing the message to the user saying you enter your height as 0 is invalid, please enter your height in meters. So this is the message I'm going to pass to the user when he's trying to enter 0 during runtime. Now let's save this and then rerun this program. If you give weight as 75 and if I give height as 0, if I enter now, there are two exceptions occurred right now. One is 0 division error and the other thing is name error. So if you see the name error, exception is actually a wrong one, which need to be used as exception here. Okay, now this is actually the one of the exception, and also you are calculating the BMI using height value as 0. That is why these two exceptions got triggered at the same time and the program got terminated unexpectedly. Now if I save this and rerun the program, let's say I am giving 75 and the height is 0. Now I see the message displayed as you entered your height as 0, it's invalid, please enter your height in meters. In earlier we have got 0 division error, at the same time we have got name error, right? So both the things has been handled perfectly here. If you give the exception name as exception, it's not the right thing to use as name. We need to give proper exception names for every exception we deal using except blocks. Okay? If you give 0 division error, then this exception is 0 division error. And the other exception we got was name error exception, right? So if suppose if height is not there, height variable we haven't defined. Now if you try to execute the program, let's say I'm giving my weight as 75 and it got terminated immediately without asking the height and saying name error, name height is not defined. This is one of the exception again. So in order to handle this kind of exception, we'll be having one more exception. In a program, one try block can have multiple except blocks. So I'm going to create another exception block here saying name error. So that is print the height variable not defined yet. Please define before using it. Okay, now I'm saving this and then I'm running this program again. 75 as weight. Still my height variable is commented, so means like it is not defined. If I hit enter, now you see the message displayed as the height variable not defined yet. Please define before using it. So instead of terminating the program unexpectedly, the program has written a message to the user saying the height variable not defined yet, please define before using it. It's a good way of giving information to the users and he can simply modify the code. Now if you rerun it, that kind of error won't appear. Now 75 and I'm going to give 2 as my height. Now the body mass index of a person is 80.75. This is how you can handle exceptions. As I mentioned in my introduction of this exception handling, there are another blocks called else block and finally block. Else block will get triggered only when there are no exception being caught in try block. Let's say if I have an else block here, I am going to print this particular body mass index. I am just cutting this. Instead of having in that, I am just going to paste here. Okay. Now if I save and run, I have this 75 and 2. I got the output as the Modibus index of a person 18.75 got triggered as there are no exceptions being caught. If suppose if I comment this particular height and then if I rerun this program, now if I give 75 as a weight, now else block won't get triggered. Instead, the another exception block name error got triggered and the print statement got executed. Okay, so now we have another block called finally block. So finally block is also an optional one. Else block and finally blocks are both optional one. The finally block will get executed after try block get executed completely. So now I'll say BMI calculation completed successfully. Now if I save this, if I run 75 as weight and 2 as height, now I got the body mass index of a person is 18.75 and finally being triggered and that print statement got executed. Finally block will get executed for sure in sequence after try and else blocks gets executed, even if there are any exceptions being caught during runtime. So that's it guys, we come to the end of the session and also to the course. Thanks for watching. Please do subscribe to my video channel and click on the bell notification icon appearing next to the subscription button so as to receive notifications as and when I upload new video related to Python programming and to make yourself updated. And also please do like, share and write your feedback, or if you have any queries, please do comment under comment section. I'll respond back to you guys. Thank you again. I wish you good luck. Take care and see you.